Cabo, greetings and welcome to WY Healing Room again. Okay, if you haven't, please subscribe and like the channel. So today I want to speak about the propaganda put on African spirituality, because most people's first glimpse of African spirituality usually stems from films and television shows or literature, or the so-called representation of African spirituality or voodoo, that is being publicized, often leads people to fear or horror towards African spirituality due to the propaganda that the media has put out. You know, these many different films that Hollywood, has put out, as well as even the social media agendas, has many people scared of their own culture. This brainwashing of the media, not only does it depict, voodoo in such an evil way, they also use many of the recent names, colors, attributes. They depict them into gruesome characters or, just creatures of evil. That's kind of the way how they market it. And, with this usage of symbols and colors and names, it makes new practitioners confused. Let's say you learn about a shoe and then you watching a movie and you see it's a crazy like a shoe depicted as the god, a voodoo god, out to hurt and destroy you. Instead, is you would never really see a shoe more in Hollywood or the media depicted as a shoe, the road opener, the one who can create, the one who can open doors to success. Eshu is the one you want to, whatever you want, he can open the doors. What about telling that story about Eshu, the Eshu that makes your life sweet, the Eshu that makes your life smooth, and the many, many blessings that our Orishas brings. We have to give ever living blessings to our Orisha. I say Epa Orisha, Orisha Epa, oh, because it's just so many of our beliefs has been depicted completely different from what it really is. So with that in mind, with this misconception that's been forced on so many people's brains, can even be from childhood, especially within the United States. It automatically makes it hard for many people to remove this, propaganda and all of these, lies and misconceptions from their minds, And I also notice that, if it's not programming coming from the media, then many African Americans have to face the programming kind of like within their own household. Because if you grown up in a household, or maybe you were surrounded by, let's say, Christianity or something like that in your household, and you have always been taught that it can only be one way, and if you were doing anything else, you were doomed to the pits of hell and different things. Many of us have heard those stories growing up, and so many have even been put in their mind that even the thought of even questioning the Bible or any historical book is blasphemy. So it makes many people very hard to accept the new ideologies and concepts. And we also have to think about programming from, I guess I would say, the educational so-called documentaries about voodoo and African spirituality have also contributed to the misrepresentation of voodoo. Because some of these programs, I know they aim for, educational purposes, but many of them lack the understanding of the culture, and many of them, and the narratives that they are, putting out is incorrect, because like, let's say many come to these sacred villages or sacred places, only certain information is given to those. Usually this information, a secret scientists, a secret, works is given to those with, many years of Orisha worship. You can't really, walk into any temple and someone just going to give you all type of dozen of secrets, and especially someone from a different tribe. It just doesn't work like that. And, many of these historians, yes, they have paid, some money to get certain rights to rituals, because, our people, We're not going to turn down no money. We say fumini owo pupo all the time. So, these documentaries or historians, yes, they visit, like within a vacation time. So, no qualified priest, or no one with the true secrets will, never expose this to strangers, to all the secret information enough to put out a whole documentary about something that they're not, a part of. So I noticed that a lot with the documentaries, the narratives is just, like I said, incorrect. Um, so yeah, with all of that being said, with all of that propaganda stemming down, I found that working, with people coming into African spirituality, that this is a mental problem that, they face moving towards the spiritual systems due to all the propaganda put on them. So when it becomes time to maybe, let's say, set up an ancestral altar, or even do maybe a basic adamu or offering to the Orisha, many clients are very fearful and nervous, due to the mass propaganda, put on their minds. So, it's just an interesting thing. We have to make sure we flush our minds from these lies and misconceptions that has been brought on us. And, for me, I was one of those people. I remember, when I set up my first altar, and Chief Oloye, gave me, my first ancestral book. And I never forget, how nervous I was to set up my first ancestor altar, because it took me a while to, filter, the propaganda out of my head. I was, my first libation and, my first mojuba came with a little nervousness. But when my ancestors came and hugged me, and I was able to, delete those misconceptions from my mind, I was able to grow. And each day, I grow more in my ashe. And I'm thankful that I took that first step of, even removing the propaganda from my mind, to make that first step to, put my altar up and different things like that, because it's just an interesting thing. You have to start the process, because for some reason when Africans venerate our ancestors is evil, but when other cultures do it, it's their way of life. Like if you go into any, maybe say like an Asian store, you're going to always see some kind of altar in the front. But if an African American do it with their people, people ready to protest your business or something if you had an altar in your altar. So it's just different when it comes to Americans doing African spirituality versus other. But just like I said, the title of the video, don't let propaganda take you from African spirituality. You want to dive into learning about who you are, get your readings, complete your elbows, do what is requested. You want to take the steps, and just, take the steps, make your life nice and easy, and don't let the propaganda get to you, okay? I do want to say, yes, the Orishas do come with many corrections and some beatings sometimes, but it's all for your personal growth, like just like a mother who, may have to discipline her child, these corrections or these spankings will be for the greater good, And one thing else I want to say, just like anything, is what you put out is what you put in, what you want to receive back. So, so if you are that person that are fearful about setting up your altar and moving to the next step, don't let propaganda take you. So if you're debating about setting an altar, go ahead, move on to the next step. Or maybe you're debating about initiation, don't let propaganda take you from your destiny, just continue to give, and don't continue to give strength to someone else's ancestors. Give energy to your bloodline and the people who look like you and know your bloodline, that give you the power. If you think about it, there's a reason behind those that's in power today, because Many of us are putting worship into other people's ancestors. So if you think about how did they get into that supremacy, they got there by you and all our prayer warriors giving power to them. So let's rise above and create our story and not constantly repeating his story. All right. Ashe, wow. All right, I do pay all for watching Adobe Wise Healing Room. Now we're going to do a quick 5-minute meditation. Please get in a quiet space and get ready to heal. Please find a quiet place. You're going to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale slowly. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now I want you to take your hands and place them on your head and say this prayer to your Ori. I am free. I remove all misconceptions, propaganda, and lies from my mind. I vibrate at a higher level. I am that I am. Thanks for watching Adobe Y Healing Room.